Welcome to the Social Regressive. The votes are in, the people have decided. We are indeed going to review this Osprey 4-16 by 50mm mil-dot scope. It has an illuminated reticle and a couple other neat tricks to it. As far as the feature set goes, it does look like a cool scope. But just as a quick overview or a review from last time, I did have two of these scopes that failed me in the past. This is a Gen 2, those others were Gen 1s, so we're going to dig into this thing. Now, as far as that voting goes, in their bloodlust, the people also decided to destroy it. So we're going to review and destroy, and we're actually going to destroy it in two different ways, which will be kind of fun. We're going to blow this thing up with tannerite. We need to fill it, actually, with tannerite, shoot it, blow it up. That's going to be coming in a later video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. And the way that we're going to be making a hole in it to put that tannerite in is with this. These are very rare bullets. I wish I had a bunch more of these. I kind of thought a long time ago that I should buy more, but right now these are probably my last 30 bullets. These are Barnes banded solids, and they still make some of these for some really large calibers, but for small stuff, no. The problem is that the ATF pressured Barnes to stop making these because I think that these probably would go through body armor with ease. I think it's not designed for that. It's designed for varminting and predator hunting, especially when you have fur-bearing animals. So that this bullet just goes straight through, doesn't make a big hole, big mess to clean up. So if you're, actually hunting coyotes for the pelts, these are just going to go straight through. And since these are just, basically that is one chunk of brass that's been milled out, and it's very sharply pointed. This is not going to deflect, it's not going to squash, it's not going to do anything. I think that this would pass through not just one layer of body armor, but it might do two, actually. I'd be curious to stack them up and see how many this would actually go through coming out of this. This is a Savage 12 FV and 243 Winchester. So yeah, you're talking about this little 75 grain bullet, very tough bullet, coming out of the muzzle here at about 3,200 feet per second. So we're going to kind of redo that half-cock legend where he shot through a scope all the way through. Yeah, we're going to shoot through this thing. That'll be the hole that we use to fill this up with tannerite. So without further ado, this is the review video. We're going to have the destruction videos coming a little later. We'll do the half-cock one in its own video. We'll do the tannerite in its own. And for now, we're going to dig into the scope and we're going to see how it performs as far as resolution tests, contrast tests. We're going to do tracking tests, all kinds of stuff. Of course, we'll actually put it on gun, see how it does. Let's dig into this thing. Let's see what we have. All right, got a little instruction manual, a little rag for cleaning. Let's see what else is in here. It looks like they did include a battery for the illuminated reticle. That was very kind of them. This is CR 2032. And a couple of wrenches for adjusting the dials. Oh, I forgot that these include rings as well. I'm sure we'll be swapping those out to test it out. Okay, so first impressions straight out of the box. The weight on this thing is quite nice, especially for an illuminated reticle model and a 30mm tube. Normally these things are pretty hefty. So yeah, this is definitely something you could mount on an AR without too many weight issues. Okay, it does include a couple of lens caps, and these seem to be better than the previous models. I like these a lot better. The other ones felt a little bit flimsy, but these actually feel okay, and you can actually see through them if you have to. So some of the other things, as far as the feature set goes, like I mentioned, illuminated reticle, and you have a choice between off, so that's going to be your off position on 0, and then you can go up through red, and then there's going to be green illumination as well. Check this out real quick. I was totally wrong on this. This actually has 3 different colors that you can cycle through. So you get blue, actually. Keep going around to a 0, and then you go to green. And then you can switch over to red as well. Okay, so that's kind of neat. I don't know when you would want to choose one over the other. For me, if I'm shooting in the dark, basically I want red and that's it, because that's going to preserve my night vision. But, you know, I've seen greens before, and maybe there's a good reason. Magnification ring right here, as usual. So that's going to be 4-16. Okay, that feels pretty easy to turn. There are some little steps that I can feel in there, like something's not ground entirely smoothly. Side parallax adjustment, which is a feature that I just plain love. I'm really done with adjustable objective scopes unless there's a really good reason for them. It's just kind of a pain in the neck to be reaching out here fiddling with the scope when you're trying to be keeping an eye on the target. Alright, it looks like they have upgraded these turrets. The previous model, they wouldn't actually raise, lower, or move left and right on the windage knob. They would just kind of stay in one position, and if you happen to turn more than one revolution, you'd probably just have to try to remember and then dial it back. So at least we get these little graduations now. And it actually feels pretty good. There's a good amount of tension between each one. There isn't much to feel, I'll tell you that. It's there's really hardly anything palpable between the clicks. I can kind of feel it. I think that if I were in my headphones or had some earplugs in, it'd be a little bit tough to tell. But it is at least kind of loud. So yeah, just a bit indistinct as far as feel goes. And then great big 50mm lens on this end, so hopefully that'll be good for low light levels. So that's about it as far as the features go. These rings, I'm sure these are very, very inexpensive, you know, probably NC Star sort of quality, just considering, you know, the price of the overall scope, the feature set you're getting, and then, you know, the rings that they're throwing in. So you know, they might work just fine, but I'm going to swap it out anyway just to make sure that I'm eliminating variables when I take this thing out. Here are my first targets with the Osprey 4-16x50mm MDG scope, and here is shot number 1. This is a 0 test right here. I was just getting everything all zeroed in. That's my first shot. Apparently I got a pretty good bore sight, so that's 3.5 inches high, 4 inches right at 100 yards. Second shot came in a little low, a little left, and then bringing things back in. There's a 3-shot group, so definitely within that 0.75 MOA that I'm used to seeing out of that particular load. These are 75 grain boat tail hollow points from Hornady. These are hand loaded with Varget, and they usually shoot about 3/4 MOA. So here's the second target. This is a box test. I wanted to see how well the turrets tracked. So there's my original shot, and we just want to see if, and for each of these shots, what I'm doing is I'm adjusting the turrets, and I'm just aiming at the exact same point. I'm aiming at that center point. This is coming a little bit high for that original shot, because I am zeroing this for 200 yards, even though I'm shooting at 100. So yeah, shooting at 100 is going to come in a little high. Second shot, that's definitely within that 3/4 MOA we should be looking for. This one's starting to drift left pretty far, but it's really not too bad. Third shot, you can see that these are starting to come in a bit lower than the ones that are up here. So this is coming in a bit high. Still, it's really kind of within those limits, so it is tracking pretty well. It's not exactly perfect, but yeah, it's pretty decent. Alright, ladies and gents, I just finished shooting the Silhouette Steel Animals here at Tulsa's Red Castle Gun Club. I am using a Rock River Arms LAR-15 Car A4. This has an upgraded stainless steel barrel. It's pretty heavy under the handguard. This thing shoots my 75 grain boat tail hollow points from Hornady. It's a kind of a pet hand load of mine. It shoots those consistently at 3/4 MOA, so it's a good precise rifle and should be a good platform for testing this. This is that Osprey scope, and what I did for this test is I used the turret up top to get the elevation, and then I used the reticle for whatever little windage there was. And what I did is I shot first the chickens at 200 meters, the pigs at 300 meters, turkeys at 400 yards, rams at 500 meters, and then I just zipped everything on back down to our 0 point to shoot a chicken yet again at 200 meters. So I did have a few misses. I'd say that overall the tracking was just fine. I did have some misses, first of all, on, I think I missed a turkey the first time, and that one was just me not getting the windage quite right. The ram out there, I missed him, I think just once or twice, and that was just, again, me not getting the windage quite right, and I was coming in a little bit high. I don't know if that was tracking on this or if it was just my dope. There definitely are some question marks on my my dope sheet here. I have everything on this rifle kind of outfitted for an MRAD Falcon scope, and I have everything really dialed in well for that. And you know, I tried to get everything estimated for this, but you know, all I had to do was just adjust a little bit, and then I was able to tag that ram out there. I also had some misses on the chicken, and I was coming in a little bit low on that, and I'm pretty sure what was happening is I was hitting the berm in front of the chicken. That's what happens on the left side of this. The berm gets a little high in front of the chicken, and then it kind of falls behind. I think I was just spraying dirt there. So I think that it returned to 0 just fine. I just aimed a little higher on the chicken's back and then took it down, and I did hit high on it, so I'm pretty sure that we were right on here. Some other notes that I have on this is actually I like the glass. The eye relief it's a little bit finicky at 16x. I mean, really, it's not bad. As long as I just, you know, hold my face in the right place. It doesn't take too much work to get it, you know, situated just right. I have the eye relief really nice on here. And yeah, I was able to read mirage out there in order to try to figure out the wind. 16x is a bit less powerful than some of the stuff that I take out here on the average day. You know, usually I have like an 18x, a 20-25, somewhere in there. But yeah, with this I was able to read the mirage, and for me, you know, that's most of what I need from the glass out of a scope. As long as it can see at night, you know, or in dusky sort of situations, that's nice too. But as far as resolution goes, you know, I'm really wanting to see some of those wind cues, like seeing swaying grass and seeing mirage. Mirage is one of the tough ones, and I was able to see it out there. Overall, I have to say that I'm positively impressed with how the Osprey has been performing today, and I didn't really expect to be saying that. Just some of the things about this don't really relay confidence. You have the windage turret that's mounted kind of cockeyed into the body here. You have both of the turrets, which spin 7.5 MOA per turn, which makes counting things up, especially out at the longer ranges, kind of difficult, because you have to remember, okay, now I'm on halves, and things just don't really add up quite right. But, you know, really, it performed anyway. The glass actually is pretty decent. I was able to see the mirage. I was able to see the targets just fine. I was able to use that side parallax adjust to, you know, get to a nice parallax adjustment and good focus on those things. So yeah, I think it's really been working. Now, this doesn't mean that it's going to escape a fiery death because you guys decided that's how this was going to be, even if the scope was good, as it's kind of turned out to be. You know, it is kind of frustrating in some ways, but it actually works. But you guys decided that even if it worked, that we were going to destroy it anyway. So we are going to be killing it in the Hathcockian manner, and then we're going to be blowing it up as well. So stay tuned, you're not going to want to miss that. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Even if you didn't like this particular content, go ahead and subscribe. There's probably something coming that's more up your alley. Check out this playlist right here. This is going to have videos in a similar vein to what you just watched. These two videos we cherry-picked for you. And finally, the Social Regressive is on Patreon. So you can become a patron of the Destructive Arts and earn some goodies while helping us to provide high-quality videos just by kicking us a few bucks a month. Thanks a bunch for your patronage.